Hi, Todd Martin here with The Walking Code. In today's video, we're going to do another pole exercise using a pole or a pillar to hold the body up against gravity so we can move in slow motion and stop in various positions during the step so we can feel what is happening with the core. In this video, what I'm going to focus on is how we're using our hips in order to do this correctly. And I've done some other videos on hip action, which you should go back and watch if you haven't already done it. But in this video, we're going to use the pole so we can get a better feel of what's going on with your hips when you're moving. If you haven't watched the first pole video, please go back and watch that also. Also, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, and click on the bell so you can get notifications for my future videos. In the first pole video that I did, what we did was go through the phases of gait, using the core and using the pillar to help hold us up. So we went through the change of weight to my right leg, the swing through, and then the bringing the heel down in a controlled fashion, and then stepping to begin the next movement. What I want you to do is first change your weight so all your weight is on the right leg, tucking your pelvis under so you have completely vertical posture and keeping your eyes gazing straight forward. And then I want you to lift yourself forward, which is the swing through phase of the step. Your weight should be forward on the ball of your right foot. Your left heel should be hovering forward above the ground, and your posture should be completely vertical. This is the position that I want you to feel, and what I want you to do is feel what's going on with your hip action. You should feel that you are trying to lift your leg forward. The same as you might say that I'm doing with my left leg. I'm using my hip to lift the left leg forward and up. I'm using that energy the same way on my right leg, lifting the body forward and up. But of course, since my weight is on the leg can't lift up. So what it's doing is pulling the body forward. So this is the position I want you to feel. Now what I want you to do, instead of pulling forward with the leg, I want you to push back with the leg and feel what that does to the position of the body. What it's going to do is push the body forward into a forward lean like this, and now I'm pushing against the pillar. So feel that. Push back as hard as you can against the pole or the pillar, whatever you're using. Your right arm will be pushing against it because your core is turning forward on the right. Push against it, push back against the ground with your hip. That is hip extension. Now what I want you to do is feel what hip flexion is. Hip flexion is going to be pulling against the ground instead of pushing against the ground. So I'm going to pull back with my hip, and that's going to bring me back to this position, which is the correct position that you want to be in at the end of the swing through phase of the gait, not this position. This is hip extension, this is hip flexion. Think about it like this. If we were lying on our stomach on the ground and we had our hands up in front on the ground, we can pull the body forward. And so we're trying to pull the ground forward, but of course, since the ground is not going to move, what it's going to do is pull the body forward instead. The same thing is happening here. I'm going to, since my leg is behind the body, I'm going to attempt to pull the ground forward towards me, and instead, since the ground isn't going to go anywhere, it's going to pull me back into this position. And so I am actively pulling with the right hip. I am actively rotating my upper torso forward on the right, and I am actively tucking my pelvis on the right. These are the 3 primary core movements during the swing through phase of the step. So that is what I want you to feel. Feel extending that pull. Pull forward with the hip. Pull forward with the hip, and then to feel the difference, push back with the hip, and you will see what the difference is. To do the exercise again, go back to a good posture with your feet both on the ground, spine centered between the 2 feet. Then shift your weight to your right leg. The weight should go towards the ball as you do that because you're rotating forward on the upper part of your core. Your palm should now press against the pillar. Your left foot should have only the ball touching the ground but with no weight on it. Then use your hip to lift forward. Now I'm in a balanced position, balanced only because the pole is keeping me up. My heel is elevated off the ground, the left heel that is. Now we're going to finish the step by not pushing off from the hip. We're going to finish the step by turning the upper torso, and that is going to bring my heel down in a controlled fashion. Then I can begin the next step. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already clicked the like button, go ahead and click that now, and go back to the channel so you can watch my other videos on walking technique. There is a lot to know, a lot to understand about proper walking technique. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I want you to understand what your body is doing when you're walking, because it's going to help you keep an aligned posture and minimal impact on your joints. Thanks again.